afternoon, everybody. How's things? Are you all warming off, or are you keeping cool? Or have you got overcast skies? I don't know. I mean, here it's a little bit overcast, but I'm not complaining. It's still quite nice out there, so not to worry at all. So what we're going to be doing today, goodness me, tile 258. We weren't sure, so we had to check. So I thought it was evens on a Friday, and it is 258, goodness me. So what do I have with me then? Okay, I've got my regular pen, as you've just seen, pencil, tortillon. I've got my white chalky pencil, and I've also got some coloured pencils with me just in case. I'm going to see how I feel and how far we get, but you don't have to. You can use any tile you want. You can use anything you like to draw this with. If you want colour, great. If you don't, doesn't matter either. So what do I have? I've got, this is a lilac or lavender coloured tile that's out of the sorbet tiles. I had to think that. Goodness me, yeah, there we go. So that's what I'm going to work on today. Straight in with a pencil then, I reckon. Are we all ready for this? Take a deep breath. Goodness me. Oh, right, okay. I always feel a little bit achy the day after doing a show. It's that 4-hour round trip drive, I think. So it's, I'm sat in the gallery this afternoon, so okay. I want to actually get myself a little bit of a corner, a middle. So let's put it in the middle. I've not had enough tea today, that's what it is. There you go. So I've got a bit of an idea where my centre bit is. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bubble in there. So I say a little bubble, not too small. Just sketch that in. There we go. All right. Okay. Sort of more an overlay, but there you go. So then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to create another around this one. So just sort of look at the negative space there, you see? And if it helps, do the first few bits just as a little guide. Yeah, see, I'm just looking at this space, trying to get it a little bit even there, and then bring it round on this one. And see how it sort of gives you a little bit of an idea. I mean, we could use a stencil for this, but now and again it's nice to just come in and sort of sketch it out, isn't it? Okay, so let's do another. Again, see, not as wide as this one, giving us that sort of size guide there to work to. There we go. So do your first sections, and then you can sort of do it by eye and then join them together if you need to. So this is the easy bit. No, it's not, honestly. This is not too bad to do. Gives us a shape to work to, doesn't it? It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but you know, we just want something that's going to give us an idea. Okay, that's about it then. That's about done, I would say. There's maybe a little bit rounder there. Okay, so you see this sort of cross I've got in the middle? I might as well use that, and let's just extend it a little bit outside these sort of shapes and turn it round. If I do another one here, or maybe that's not in the middle anymore, maybe it's there. You know, just have a look at yours and see where you think you are with it. You see, I've come a little bit of a way out there as well, so I've got quite an extension going on. And then here, I'm going to put another one in the middle there, keeping these lines sort of similar. And then around, and then another one there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 of those. Okay, let's put this one in. There we go. And sort of the same here. So I'm not going to worry too much about where they are. Maybe little guides, just so I've got something to work to. Okay, sort of like a ship ahoy kind of thing, isn't it? But that's not obviously the be all and the end all. So coming in for the first section, then I'm going to bring my pen in and I'm going to work in the middle bits. So let's just go in a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to put myself a little loop in. So trying to fill up the space in each of those sections. That's my first one. And then coming in with that next one there. You see, always starting from that bottom end, working my way up. So I'm repeating the lines, coming back down, trying to fill those gaps. Now you see, because this one was a little bit smaller than these two, it doesn't matter. It's just how the shapes come out there. So I've not had to measure it or anything. It's fine. And then to this one. And then the next one. So all the way around, we want this sort of little shape. Just little loops. There we go. And there's something quite nice about going back over that line and redrawing it in. So I've got that. Okay. So I'm going to put a smaller loop on the inside of each one. So they could be large if you wanted, or they could be smaller, or you could even put a single line in. But I'm gonna do these little loops. And there we go, that's two. So that gives me my middle section. Okay. So let's have a look. I'm going to miss this one just for a minute, and I'm going to work on here. And because I've got quite a wide gap there, I'm going to just sort of put a little dot in the middle, and I'm going to create a loop or a sort of half bubble there, and a half bubble on that side. And then I'm just going to draw a little aura on the inside of each one. So I've got that kind of shape there. And again, if you need to put that little mark, sort of about the middle, and I'm going to draw in first one, then the other, and then just a little aura on the inside there. You see? So same with this one, just sort of finding my middle, and then joining that dot with those sort of half bubbles, almost like the little cogs that we did with the tile slip, isn't it? It's kind of how we started with those. Little dot, and back in again, so one, then to my second, and then a little aura on the inside, and again, a little dot. Something, isn't there, about just repeating that same pattern each time. Gives it a little bit of relaxation, that we don't have to worry how we're going to do this or what's coming next. We're just going to look at this individual shape. I'm not trying to match it at all with what I did before. Just taking each one as it comes. So marking my little middle bit there, and in and around. There we go. So again, a little aura on the inside there. Around last one, little dot. Marking in that one and that one, and along there, and then along there. So we've got that kind of thing going on. We've still left that gap in the middle, but I'm going to come back to that in a short while. What I want to do now is I'm going to focus on this bit here. So again, you see I've got two lines. They're sort of similar in size, and I'm going to put a little mark in the middle there. And I'm going to do that in all. So we've sort of got an idea where we're heading anyway, because we've got that centerpiece there where we've put two little bubbles, but that's where I want to focus our next sort of lines to. So if I do that first, I know where I'm heading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the top of this one here, I'm going to bring it down in a curve to join that line. So from the top, down in a curve to join that line. So if I turn my tile, I can do the same again, down in a curve, bring it to join that line. Turn again, from the top, down to the line. So don't rush this, and if you think, oh, I'm not quite sure, or you're going a bit too straight, sort of do it first, engage it, just have a little bit of a ghost type of line and draw it on the top, but don't put your pen to paper. And when you've got the idea, you can then draw it in. Sometimes makes life a little bit easier to do it that way. Just visualise where it's going to go and then draw it. So we definitely want a curve, we don't want a straight edge there. And into that one. So we've got that thing going all the way around. So working on the opposite side now, you can again, if you want to, excuse me, start from the point and come out. Or like myself, I'm going to start now from the inside and come out to the point. So it's sort of that same curve, that same shape, but you could draw it that way. And here we go again. So you can imagine drawing it first if you need to, and then draw it in. And then imagine, and then draw. And the more you do this, the more you sort of start to see that curve. Because as you're going along, you're turning the tile, but your hand is in the same position each time. Oh, or more or less anyway. Same with this one. And then along. Into that one. So we've sort of got, let's have a look at what we've got. That kind of a shape. Okay. So let's just have a little look at what's going on here then. I've got these lines, so I'm going to bring this one down here all the way to the centre. So let's do that with all of them. So it's from the middle here, all the way down to the centre. And again. Just sort of an extension of what we've already done there. Just sort of pulling it down. There you go. So that one's a little bit slightly off there, but again, it doesn't matter. You're not going to see that in the scheme of things when it's all done. And then these lines here, either side, I'm going to join them to the point. See? And this one. So starting with the line and going to the point. Start at the line and go to the point. And start to the line and go. And the same again. Down and down. You see, you've got this sort of a little shape coming. Depending on how sort of wide your aura is, that's going to look a little different maybe. But this is quite fine. Okay. So then we've got this little section here. Let's go in a little bit. That's sort of like a gap. So I'm going to aura just around, just finish it off. Just around, finish it off. Same again on all of those little edges, just to finish that little shape. There we go. And this one. Okay. So let's have a look at these shapes. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to sort of gauge the size. I want to have a little line here. So down here, And then I'm going to turn my tile and do the same. So leave my pen, turn the tile, do the same. Turn my tile, and the same again. So they're not all going to be exactly the same, but because I'm putting a similar curve in and I'm repeating that each time, it's going to get a little easier. And it's going to help you to start creating that same curve. Okay, let's have a look at that. There you go. So I'm going to do it on the same on the other side now. And again, you might want to start at the point and come out. Or you might want to think, well, I'm going to line it up there and bring it down. So I've got that kind of shape. So let's do that again. So here it's sort of there, look. And then down. Don't worry about it if it's not exactly right. It doesn't have to be. I know how you all like to get something similar. So putting these little construction lines in along the way just sort of help. So you can do it that way. Whatever works. So don't worry about it. Trying to make them the same. And again. See, just putting these little curves on. Oh, we're all done. How quick was that? Okay. So let's look at one of these a little more closely. What I want to do is I'm going to create a couple of lines here. 1, 2 lines. And I'm going to fill in that one there with a bit of ink. And the same on this side. 2 little lines and then just follow it. Unless you've got a thicker pen and you want to come and do it with a thicker pen. So see, it's quite close, isn't it, to that line there? So I'm not going out too far. Just want those little lines in. And into the next one. Quite close. And then fill it in. And then to the next one. 2 lines. And fill them in. And in we go. 2 lines. And fill it in. And again. 2 lines, fill it in. There's always something magical, I think, about adding that little bit of black ink and filling something in. It's going back to colouring classes. We never used black, except for a tiny bit in eyes and things. It's just, it feels kind of nice to do. And the next one. Again, just that little stripe in there. And around we go. So also it gives that a little bit of drama and it makes things not so two-dimensional. So I'm going to change that shape a bit there because I can, because I'm filling it in. And it just starts to add a little bit of interest in each of those little sections there. Into that one. And then this one. There we are. To that one. Okay, all sides done. So whilst I've still got this line at the centre, I'm now going to bring one this way. In there. And this is sort of like an aura of that sort of shape there. I'm using this as my centre. And then as before, I'm going to bring in a line there. There we go. And into there. Okay. Next one. along and down. Up there and back down. Filling it in. Just into that one. And then round again. Up into here and down here. And that second line comes in. And then we're going to add that black line. There you go. Let's do another. Along and down. Drawing in that second line and filling it in with that black ink. And again. So at the weekend I managed to meet a few of you, which was really lovely. So we were at Doncaster, at the race course. So it was a very busy weekend. It was lovely to see so many people out and getting involved in crafting. So we had a good time. We were shattered. I think we got in on the Sunday evening and fell asleep on the sofa. But it was really good. It was really nice to actually meet people and say hi. Talk to people who didn't know what Sanntangle was. So we soon sorted that out. Next one. Into there. I'm going to fill that one first. There, look at that. You can do it that way if you like. There we go. Right, let's have a look at this. All right. So far so good. It's not looking too bad at all. So, okay, next little bit then. We've got a couple of spaces that need filling. And I'm going to start with this one in the middle here. So again, we've got this center line, so let's go with that. And if I put in a little curve that side, and a little curve that side, that's nice. And I'm going to put quite a large bubble in the middle there. Now usually rather than do full size or full shape bubbles, I'm going to draw them as though they're sort of going on the underneath that, then going underneath each. Like that. Okay, and again I'm going to add a little bit of ink there just to sort of fill in those sides. And then a little line here and a little line here, if you can fit it in. I'm going to do one at the top as well. Then into our next one. Again, that curved shape, either side. Bubble in the middle. And then that one's going to go underneath. That one's underneath that one. Underneath and underneath. And then again, just sort of fill in the gaps. A little line going here to a little here. And then at the top, if you can get it in. And turn it round. And curve either side. Larger bubble in the middle. And then each side sort of go underneath the last one. Looks like they're real cozy in there. There you go. And again, before we do that, you didn't remind me. And a couple of little lines there. And then into the next one here. Bubble. And then in we go. In we go. And let's just fill that bit in with ink there. And the next one. And a curve. And a curve. Bubble. Oh, look, I didn't do it again. Oh, I'm forgetting those lines. And then this one. This one. And either side. Then each one. And remembering this time that those little lines, they're so important. Just that little bit of shading before we even add shading. And to this one. Bubble in the middle. And around we go. And that one. See, just filling in those little bits as and when we need to. And then little lines either side. There we go. And then this one. There's something about putting curves within curves. I think it's really nice. I know some of you prefer your grids, but we could look at this as a grid as well. It's been broken up and it's structured. It's giving you some essence to work with. Again, not forgetting, just getting those lines in there. And into this one. Curve here and here. There we go with the first bubble, each one going under the last. And then just filling those little bits in and little lines. So we've got that kind of shape. Okay. So looking at our spaces here, I'm going to come in and fill it with a series of bubbles. They don't have to be the same size. They don't have to match on each side. We just want to fill it with bubbles. See? Just keep turning your tile as you go. Don't think you've got to leave it in one place. Just move it to where it's comfortable for you. And the same with this one. See how it sort of works its way round. Each one's a little bit different. So I think I'm going to just go around that one again. And of course you don't have to use a black pen for this. You could use a coloured one and use lots of different colours, or just one, or whatever you want to do. One thing I do suggest though is, if you've not done this before, when we're doing little tangles or patterns, try as much as you can to use a pen. Can you imagine drawing all this in pencil and then coming back and drawing it in pen afterwards? That's just too much of your life. When we're drawing things, we don't want to be doing that. Just sort of go with it and enjoy the flow of the pen. And let that just sort of be part of it. It's amazing what you can draw then. You sort of let go of that worry about making mistakes. Just sort of go with what happens. Thank you.
Hi guys.
Thank you. I know there's not much space on my desk.
No, there isn't.
I've got a few things on the go, all involving tangling in some way, shape or form. Because is it next weekend we do classes, Leslie?
Yeah.
Goodness
Well,
me.
not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow,
Yeah,
next
yeah,
weekend.
yes.
No, next weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so it's only just over a week.
Gosh. Comes round quick, doesn't it? And, of course, next week is the tile swap as well. Tile swap 19. That's on Monday at 2 o'clock, isn't it? We've got 2 tiles as per usual. And we're having visitors up here on Wednesday. We're having a hobby maker crew coming up for a cup of tea on Wednesday. So I'll see if I can do a quick live video on Wednesday so you can see what we're getting up to. Say hi to the crew. Or some of the crew anyway. I'm sure they've got to leave some down there to film, so I don't know who it's going to be. There we go. Alright, I think I do need to just remove those lines, I think, from in the middle, if I've got the rubber on. I've just got one somewhere. There we go. Let's just sort of have a look at what we've got in the middle. Sometimes you've got to get rid of those lines and again, if you've drawn them really lightly, you should be fine. Because mine are quite heavy, so the camera can pick them up. But you've got to get rid of them. There we go. All right. So let's have a look what we've got here. It's looking lovely, isn't it? So far, so good. I think in the middle here, I'm going to use some lines. We've got lines, we've got bubbles. So if I start in the middle and then fill it first this way. Now I'm sort of following the shape just a little bit. So they're curving slightly. You see? Curving slightly. Same this side. So start in the middle, follow them round. Same on this side. Start in the middle, follow them round. There we go. In the middle. So you don't have to sort of curve it too much, but that's just enough to help give that 3D effect. And certainly when you put colour on it, it helps. Again, you could have done this in a different colour. Maybe on a purple tile, maybe a purple fine liner. Just to sort of keep it in with the same colour. Okay. And let's put just a few bubbles around the edge here. See how that just finishes off. So if you've got any slightly wobbly lines, that's not a problem. We're just going to cover it with these little bubbles. Now, you see here I've got a little bit of a gap, so I'm going to follow through and still add bubbles in there. So it gives the impression it's been folded a little bit, doesn't it? Same here. And just keep turning it so it's nice and comfortable. You don't want to be trying to draw something where your hand's not comfortable. It just doesn't work. Okay. So working from this one to this one, see we've got like a straight line. You can see that there. I'm just going to put a line in. It's going to help us when we shade it in a minute. Sort of each one as it comes. You notice I'm not touching, I'm not joining them exactly. Oh, that one has. I'm not, my intention isn't. So. There we go. Let's have a look at this. There you go. And of course, because we've got such heavy build-up of tangles here, we're going to leave something a little bit light. So you've got a bit of somewhere for your eyes to go and have a rest. Because it can get a little bit busy. So, all right, let's work on the space we've got around the outside. I'm going to come round with a curl. We do like our curls. There you go. Put a little dot on the end. And I'm going to, from the back of that curl, I'm going to bring one round. And it joins again. Maybe another. See, it's coming back a little bit. And then it joins. So each one sort of steps back from the last. So we could do lots of those, but I think I'm going to keep it to 2 because I want to do another one. Come in this way. And you notice how I went underneath that one there? Underneath here. And then as before, I'm going to bring in 1 and 2. Okay, so I think before I decide I'm going to put it in every one, I'm going to sort of leave a gap and I'm going to put it in every other one, just to start with. So let's go a little bit bigger now. You can see the context there, and I'm going to come up and round, creating 1, and there's our second one. And the other side. Now I don't have to keep it within here, I've got space. So let's take it up and out a little bit. And then coming off the back of this one. And then the same again. So you see where I've got a little bit of a, looks a little bit messy there. Let's put a little dot on it. Okay, looks like it's finished now. So I'll do the same on that one there. So I'm going to miss that one. And I'm going to come in here and do one. Maybe this can be a little bit smaller. And this is coming in from the top there. In from the top. And again, let's just put a little dot. Maybe one a little bit bigger, see this time, look, around. A little dot. And then around we go. And same again. Alright. Missing one again. And as before, let's put a curl in, a little dot on the end. And sort of coming off the back, another curl that's joining up, and then a second one. Back in, the next one, around we go. Now that's kind of close to the edge there, so I'm just going to put one in here. See, it's going to join a little bit closer at the top. I don't want it to go off the edge. Have a look at this. So this is a nice way to look at it, to think, do I want to do all of it or a few? So we've actually done every other one, so you can see where it's working there. And of course, that's what you want to do. You can leave it at this point and not add any more in. But, you know, there's no such thing as less is more on a tangled tile. So I think I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill it. But the beauty of this is you can actually look at this and see how it turns out. And then you can decide whether you're going to put more in or less in. So it's entirely up to you. So I'm going to work the same way. First one way, and then the other. And that little dot. And then, of course, coming off the back of it and adding two more. Coming to the same line. Turn it round. Same again. Little dot. And around. And of course, second time. And another. So I'm not going to go too big with this one either, because it's quite close there. Into the next one. So I do have a bit more space here, so I can come in and draw a little bit bigger. And then bringing this one in and off. See how that's sort of going underneath each time. And then back round. Little dot. Again, that's all these little curls coming off the back there. And one more set. One here. And just sort of working that round. And little dot. And as before. There's the first one, and there's the second one. So let's have a look at that now. We've got it on each one, quite like that. And of course we could come in and add a few bubbles. Looks like that. Let's have a look. We could add some zingers. We could bring in some little curves and have some petals in there. See how they can just sort of grow a little bit. Let's go a little bit bigger there, see? I always like little flowers in these curves. Now usually I'd start in the middle, and you could do that. But if you want it a little bit different, you can start on the end. Two curves, loop, and loop either side. they come together quite quickly. And you can go larger if you've got more space. I'm gonna keep them small though, so we've got something to work to there. A couple of curves, one in the middle and then one either side. There we go, so we've got those little shapes in there. So let's have a look at a little bit of shading, I think. And I'm going to mix it with a bit of shading with pencil and a bit of coloured pencil as well. I quite like that effect. So working in the middle, I'm going to add some pencil straight in the middle. And then a little bit to the top edges of those little petals there. Shall we shade it as we're going? That's not something we do all the time, so I'm going to just soften it out a little bit. And then the same at the top, but trying to leave a little bit of my tile without any pencil on in the middle there. Okay. Got a little bit of a shine on it there, I know, because I do have a light above me. 1 second. Yeah, there you go, see. So this one that needs just a tad more softening. There you go. Alright. She's done that today quite a lot. Makes herself a cup of tea and leaves it on the desk. Okay, so this time I'm adding pencil either side of each of those sort of little loop shapes. There you go. Same there. So I'm going to add a little bit of softness, sort of zigzag it over the two. Because if possible, I'd quite like to leave that highlight in the middle. Okay, let's just lift that again. You see, so I've got shading on either side there. So you just softened it out on either side. Left a little bit in the middle. Okay. So, back in with pencil. All sort of around here. And sort of just a zigzag kind of application there. And just sort of push it out a bit. And you see sometimes it can be a little bit persistent, so swirl it first and then brush it out. See the difference? So you sort of have already softened that line and you're dragging it into the rest of the piece. Same again. And out we go. And again, I'm not covering the whole petal there, I'm just covering a section of it. I want to leave some of it. Next bit. So you just sort of pull it out a bit. Next one. So you're just sort of breaking it up or softening it off with those swirls to start with. Really makes a difference. You can come back and add in more if you need to then. But the main bulk of it there is done. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this. Alright, so it takes a bit of the sheen away. So you see here we've got this definite sort of shade around this one. We've got the lighter on the top. I'm actually going to bring my white pencil in at this point. And in the middles, where we did the first flower, I'm going to add a little bit of white. Okay, let's go a bit bigger there. And then on this one we did either side, so I'm going to add a little white line down the middle. And then on this one we left the edge, so I'm going to add a little bit to the edges. There we go. I do normally keep the white pencil till the end, but it's kind of nice to see it grow, isn't it? So look at that. It makes a difference, doesn't it? So back in with my pencil for the next bit. So I'm going to sort of quite liberally put some over the top of everything that we've drawn here. And again, even going over the black, it leaves a little bit of a sort of a sheen, but we want that heavier line. And we want to cover all of it. So don't worry about what's underneath. Just create that little line. I'm back in with my tortillon. And I'm going to swirl it round. I'm not going to pull it too far. I'm just going to swirl it round, just to soften that edge. We just want it to stand out a little bit in the middle there. All right. Let's do it from there, coming round. Okay, there we go. So the next bit, I'm going to leave these bubble shapes, but I am going to put a little bit of pencil either side, just where we almost forgot those lines. See, just a little bit, both sides. Of course, depending on the size of yours, if it's really small, obviously you're going to put less pencil, but it obviously depends on what you've got going on there. And while I've got the pencil, I'm just going to add a little bit to sort of the top here. And again, we've shaded these before. We've done top and bottom, we've done down the sides. So this time we're going to just do that top section. And there we go. See, I've not got a top section there. I have there though. Little bits. Same with all of them as we work our way around. Okay. So back with our tortillon, I'm just going to soften off these edges again, trying to leave that little gap in the middle where we can add that highlight in a moment. And of course, if you haven't got the highlight pen, you could always use a rubber and rub out a little bit of the graphite in there. Oh, I've not even shaded that one. What am I doing? There you go. All right, and then here, just gonna push it out a little. I'm not gonna make too much of it. Just sort of give it a little bit of a soften off that top end. Our main shape is that feature in the middle, so this is sort of window dressing around the outside. So it doesn't need too much work. You see, just soften it off a little bit, all the way around. So I'm going to bring the white pencil back in, and just those highlights that we'd got sort of in the middle, I'm going to add a little bit of pencil there. See, just touching it up. I'm not going to blend this or anything, so it is just add a little bit of whiteness. So I'm just going to bring my colours in now. I'm going to bring my purple in. I've got a white, a couple of purples, sort of purple magenta-y kind of colours. Here we go. See. So I'm going to choose the darkest, and on my little bubbles, I'm going to just add that little smirk in, you see? It's a hint of colour. Now you can choose any side, you can do top, bottom, left, right, middle, but once you've decided, keep them the same. It just sort of works a bit better that way. Well, honestly, it doesn't matter which side you do. It's up to you, that one. So you're just adding a little bit there. And there you go. Just sort of adding a little bit. It doesn't actually take long to colour in. It's have a little bit just sort of here too. just sort of flick it in. And because I'm using a sort of similar coloured tile, I can get away without blending it too much. Just want a little bit of colour in there. You see, sort of press on at the end and then just sort of ease the pressure off as you work your way out. And you could colour the whole thing in, but we're just going to add a hint. Okay, let's come in with the lighter sort of purpley. It's a bit more magenta, really. There it is. Look. Just using what I've got in my stash there. See, and again, you see, I'm just keeping on with that little sort of smirky shape. Not filling the whole thing in yet. Just doing a little bit. Okay, it's gonna do that on all of them. Again, not that many, so it doesn't have to take a long time to do this. Of course, if you wanted to go in with your pencil and tortillon, you could do that. Going in with my white pencil now. Just gonna finish it off. Add some white. Now you can't do this with your white pencil, your chalk pencil, because these are sort of wax based. Your chalk pencil isn't, so it wouldn't give you the same effect. So keep pencils together, and your chalk pencil's great for using with your graphite pencil. So if you're wondering why I've got the two, that's why. And just sort of, see, I'm not really being very precise here, just filling in the gaps now. There we go. And see where we've got the top here? Just going to come in and add some white on the top there. So I'm not particularly trying to blend it, it's just giving it that little finish at the top end. There we go. See, it just sort of works. And so we've not really spent a massive amount of time colouring it, we've just added a little bit of colour in there. So the last thing to do really is I'm going to come back in with that black pen and working my way around to this sort of shape here. I just want to redefine it. I just want to bring it back in. So we sort of started with these little bumps, didn't we? And rather than making the cogs or the chains from the last tile swap, it just ended up becoming a nice pattern, or a nice little design around the edge. I just want to redefine it a little bit. Just want to make sure that it's there still. It makes all the difference doing that little bit. And I think so anyway. Okay. We're about done. So let's have a look at it. If it wants to zoom, doesn't want to zoom out. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Number 258. Nice little sort of flowery design. I think I am going to come around the outside of these bubbles as well, just to give it a bit of a redefine. There we go. Maybe add a touch of that purple as well. Just gonna bring in just a little bit. It's already got that kind of purple essence anyway, so adding that extra little bit in. And of course, you've got gel pens. There is a purple in my gel pen, so you could add that in and some of the bubbles. But it just gives it that little bit of a redefine. So last thing to do is a bit of a signature. There we go. Let's put my initials in there. And there we are. Tile 258 on the 15th of July. And using a purple or a lavender tile from the sorbets. Adding a touch of colour in there as well. But keeping it real and black ink and pencil for the most of it. So with that said, I really look forward to seeing what you're going to do with this one. Are you going to go full colour and colour everything in? I mean, you can imagine colouring this and maybe having the purple here and here in the highlight in the middle. That'll really make that lift out. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. It's been a really nice tile. Thank you everybody for joining in. Oh, a couple of thank yous. Thank you for watching yesterday. So I know a few of you did, and for messaging in. And of course, if anybody's voted for me on the Crafts Beautiful awards this year, I'm on there. If not, if you'd like to vote, that'd be great. But that would be lovely. Thank you very much. I didn't even know until somebody pointed out yesterday I'd been nominated. So it was a lovely surprise. So thank you, everybody. So have a wonderful weekend, and all being well, I will see you back here on Monday at 2 o'clock for the tile swap. So have a good one, stay safe, and make sure you put some sun cream on if it's a bit warm where you are. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. All right, bye.